it's Shannon. You've probably followed a lot of our stories, so you know kind of how pregnancy went and delivery, but I'm going to talk today very transparent about postpartum. I feel like it's very under talked about, and I've definitely dealt with postpartum for the past, it's 7 weeks today. It's 7 weeks today. And it is honestly so much harder than delivery was, than pregnancy was, because for me, I feel like I could deal with physical hardships better because I knew exactly what they were and maybe how to fix them, and that the physical parts of my pregnancy, like preeclampsia and gestational diabetes, would go away after having him. And so I was just kind of looking forward to that. For me, I heard about postpartum anxiety and depression, but I never thought it would be me. Maybe some of you are like that. You've heard about it, thought, oh, that's not going to happen to me. There's no way. And then you get to that point and you feel like you're absolutely crazy. So for me, the 2 weeks, the 2 weeks after postpartum were the hardest at first because he was a NICU baby, which was super hard. And so we went up every single day for 9 days, which I know a lot of you have probably had NICU babies for a lot longer. And so I can't even imagine having him in there longer for 9 days. And so those 2 weeks were so difficult for me. I was literally just scared to be alone. I don't know why. I was just so clung on to my husband so much, which a lot of you are probably the same way. And I was realizing that I was experiencing postpartum anxiety and had felt a ton of panic all the time. And then after the 2 weeks, I felt like something lifted and I was perfectly fine for probably about a week and a half. I felt 100% myself. I felt like I could take care of him really well. I felt like I was just great. And then something triggered it, I don't know what, and all of a sudden I went back into that hole, but 10 times deeper. And so that was about 3 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, and that was my all-time low. I felt like him crying gave me anxiety, even looking at him gave me anxiety. I don't know if that's because he was in the NICU and it made me think of that time, or if it made me think of the traumatic birth. And I felt guilty for feeling this way. I felt guilty for feeling anxious to take care of him, and I felt like I couldn't do my best. And when you feel anxiety, it feels like it's never gonna go away. Like, this is always how I'm gonna feel. How am I ever gonna get past this? Am I ever gonna get better? And that is so scary. I don't know how it consumes your mind like that, but it does, and it makes you feel like you're insane, like you're crazy, and you need mental help because something's off, something's not right, and hormones are just all over the place. And I mean, it's nice to be like, okay, I know my hormones are imbalanced and that's probably why, but still it feels weird to not have control over your mind or your thoughts, and to have intruding thoughts. I had a ton of intruding thoughts that were just horrible thoughts, and it was scary because I just felt so out of control, and my husband needed to go back to work, and that was stressing me out because I didn't want to be alone. And I got to the point where I didn't know kind of like how I was gonna keep living. Like if my anxiety wasn't gonna go away, then I didn't know how I would go on. And that's scary to admit. I mean, I've never been that person, and I've never had like those scary thoughts before. And so it was terrifying, and I didn't want to be alone, and my husband had to go back to work, and so I was like grasping for any help that I could get, and I didn't know where it would come from, and I didn't know when the anxiety would stop, and it was like a disaster, honestly. And so I had posted on Instagram saying, has anyone dealt with postpartum anxiety, depression? If you have, like, what's helped you? This was really helpful for me because, and honestly the reason why I'm doing this video is because hearing other people's story and how they got through it and how they came out on the other side, and even though they were in such a dark pit, how now they're doing okay, is like what really helped me a lot. Because it's hard to see when you're in that dark pit, how am I ever gonna be myself, let alone just even okay to go throughout the day. Days would seem so long to me. It was like I had to go hour by hour because I couldn't even think of the whole day. I would wake up literally in a panic, and I would have my fight or flight going off the entire day. I was constantly in a panic, and I didn't know why. I was afraid something bad was going to happen, or that I wasn't going to be okay, and that I would never be myself again, and it was terrifying. The number one thing that helped me first is God. I don't know if all of you believe in God or a higher being or whatever you believe in, but that is the number one that helped me. Just praying and feeling like there's some external power that can intervene and help me was huge. And so for me, God is saving, and that helped me so much. The second thing that helped me was talking about it. I know for a lot of people, talking about their feelings and what they're going through doesn't necessarily help them. For me, I talked about it as much as I could. I was like, I'm anxious, and who else has felt this, and how it made me feel normal to voice it, and it made it feel not so scary to admit that I was feeling that. So second, talking about it for me was so helpful. The third thing was medicine. I got on like anti-anxiety medication. I was already on a little bit before, but they upped my dose, and so that's really, really helped me. And the fourth thing that's helped me is to get a routine. A lot of people told me this, and I didn't believe them. I was like, okay, but it's hard for me to even get out of bed, or to wash the dishes, or to feed my baby. Like, how can I get in a routine when everything seems so hard? But it's true if you just force yourself to get up. My routine in the morning, because mornings are hardest for me, is I wake up, I make the bed, I get in the shower, and then I make his bottle, I feed him, and then we go get a Sonic drink. That's the routine every morning. And then every afternoon, when my mom gets home from work, I go on a walk with her, get some exercise, talk about how I'm doing. I always rate my day and how I'm feeling. So out of 10, I'd be like, oh, I'm at a 6, or I'm at a 6.5 today. And that would let my mom know and my husband know kind of where I was mentally compared to the other days. Probably, am I on the fourth? The fifth thing that helped me would be to keep busy. Constantly having your hands doing something, your mind doing something else, not having obsessive, intrusive thoughts is so hard to get rid of, but that is one way that eventually can help. if you're busying yourself, you have plans for each day of the week, and so you know that you're going to be busy. It really, really helps me. And the sixth thing that's the hardest, and that everyone also has told me, is time. So I had a really hard time with this one because I'm like, well, we don't know when I'm going to feel better, or when it goes away, or if it's going to come back. And so for me, I set a date. My date was November 15th. So it was, let's see, what are we at? October. It was October 15th that I said, okay, in 1 month, I truly believe I'm going to be feeling better at my peak at November 15th. And when I reach that date, then I'll think about it, and if I'm not feeling all the way better, then we'll talk about other options and how I can feel better the next month. So having a date in mind where I really felt like I would be able to feel better by helped me to kind of look forward to it. And I'm feeling a lot better now. I'm almost myself. I still have some anxiety attacks and some postpartum that I'm trying to shake off, but I feel like it's already gotten a lot better. And I'm just doing this because I want those of you out there to feel normal. And I guess normal isn't the right word, because it's not normal to feel like this. I guess it's common. It's common to feel like this after pregnancy and after your hormones are all crazy. And so I hope that this helps some of you. And if you guys have been through it and you have more tips, give them out to me. I'm still working through everything, but I wanted to spend some time deeply talking about postpartum anxiety, depression, and intrusive thoughts, and just to be vulnerable about how real those are and how scary that can feel and how dark of a place you can be in, but you can come out on the other side and be a better mom and a better person for it. And hopefully, the next time I'm pregnant and if I have some postpartum, then I'll have some tips from this time that will make it easier for the next time, and for me not to be so scared for the next time of being pregnant because of postpartum. I just wanted to talk about that, and love to all you moms that are struggling and having some postpartum anxiety, depression, intrusive thoughts. I know what you're going through, and I just want us to stick together as a family and a community